Hey, yo, what up? And this is Worst to Least Worst presented by Hoops FYI. And today we're going to do a mid-season review of each team from one division to another division, going over records and stats and how each team ranks within their division and the league statistically. In today's review, we're going to take a look at the Atlantic Division, the Wild Wild East Atlantic Division. Before we jump into the review, make sure you bless the page by clicking the subscribe button, pull up a seat, grab a drink, a snack. Join us on our other media outlets, TikTok, Instagram, and make sure you become a member at hoops.fyi. And be sure to get in the comments section to voice your thoughts. Coming out of the midseason break, here's a look at the Atlantic Division. In terms of their record, the Atlantic is first in the Eastern Conference with a collective record of 148, 125 for a win percentage of .542. The teams in the division are the Celtics, the Nets, the New York Knickerbockers, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Toronto Raptors. Three of these teams are in the playoff position coming out of the break, in which one of them was the number one seeded team in the conference and league-wide. Not only do they have the first seed, but they also have three of the top 5 seeded teams in the conference. Those 3 teams are all over 500, while the 2 remaining teams that were not seeded are under 500. 3 teams from the division are among the top 5 in terms of offensive ratings in the conference. No team from the division is in the bottom 5 of the conference in offensive ratings. Defensively, 2 of the teams are among the top 5 in defensive ratings, but on the flip side, 2 of the teams are in the bottom 5 when it comes to defense. Now let's take a look at these teams from the Atlantic Division. Coming out of the break at the number 5 position in the division, we got the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors secured 19 wins, 36 losses for a win percentage of .345, ranking them 12th in the Eastern Conference. They are 2 positions behind the play-in position. When we look at the offensive side of the game, the Raptors had an offensive rating of 113.8, which was 5th within the division. They scored 114 points per game, making them 4th in the division. However, they lead the division in assists and were 3rd in the league, averaging 29.07 assists per game. But back to the bad side of things, they are last in the division in fewest turnovers per game at 12.84 and ranked 17th in the whole league in that category. Switching over to defense, the Raptors have a rating of 117.6, which was 5th within the division. In terms of points against, they allow 117.32 on average. That's the highest within the division, and it places them 20th in the league. And they rank last in the division and 23rd in the league in defensive field goal percentage at 48.8. Same goes for defensive three-point percentage, allowing 35.7, again ranking them last in the division and 23rd in the league. At the number 4 spot, we have the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets rolled out of the break with 21 wins and 33 losses, owning a win percentage of .389. This put them at number 11 in the conference, or 1 game from the play-in game. On offense, the Nets had an offensive rating of 113.35, which placed them at the 4th spot within the division. When it comes to scoring, they ranked last in the division with an average of 113.35 points per game. Among the rest of the league, this placed them at the 22nd spot. In terms of shot making, they were last place in the division and 26th in the league with a 46% field goal percentage. On defense, their defensive rating was 116.8 for 4th in the division. They gave up an average of 115.63 points, which is also 4th highest in the division. And when it comes to defending the 3-point shot, they are again last in the division and almost at the bottom of the league at number 25 with a defensive 3-point shooting percentage of 38.4%. In the 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division, we have the 76ers. Philly racked up 32 wins, 32 losses for a win percentage of .593, which was 5th in the Eastern Conference. On offense, they notched an offensive rating of 118.6, putting them 2nd within the division. On the scoring side, they averaged 118.33 points per game, which was also 2nd highest within the division. But they struggled distributing the rock, falling to 26th in the league with only 24.85 assists per. On the positive end, they were tops in the division and tops in the league in fewest turnovers with only 11.4 per game. But switching gears to defense, the 76ers sat at third in the division with a defensive rating of 114.1. On the positive end, they were tops in the division and tops in the league in fewest turnovers with only 11.4 per game. Switching gears to defense, the 76ers sat at third in the division with a defensive rating of 114.1. They also landed third in the division in terms of points given up per game with an average of 113.94 or 113.94. And when it comes to stealing the rock, they average 8.58 steals per game, which makes them first in the division and first in the entire league. But when it comes to rebounding, they were last in the division in defensive rebounds and 23rd in the league with 32.05 per game. And in total rebounding average, they were also last within the division, but they were 19th in the league, averaging 43.09 rebounds per game. At the number 2 spot, we have the New York Knicks, who had a respectable record of 33-22, giving them a win percentage of .600, placing them 4th in the conference. When we take a look at their offense, the Knicks held pretty steady with an offensive rating of 117.9, making them 3rd best in the Atlantic Division. They averaged 114.49 points per game, which was 3rd within the division. But they struggled in assist or passing the rock, coming in last in the division and 29th overall in the league with 23.66 per game. They were very strong in the offensive rebounding category, grabbing the top spot within the division and ranking 3rd in the league at 12.71. Now, looking at their defensive rating was 113.1, which placed them 2nd in the Atlantic Division. They did a really good job in defensive points or points against at 109.95 per game, which placed them at the top spot in the division and 3rd in the league. And to add to that, they ranked in the top 5 in the league at number 4 in average rebounds at 45.84. However, in terms of blocking, they were last in the division and 29th in the league at 3.91 per game. And at the number 1 spot in the Atlantic Division, we take a look at the Boston Celtics, who came out of the break with a 43-12 record, giving them a .782 win percentage, which was tops in the conference as well as being tops in the league. The Celtics, man, they really got busy on the offensive end. They notched an offensive rating of 120.8, which is the highest ranking within the division and also the league. They scored the most points in the division and 5th in the league with an average of 120.67. They led the division and ranked 12th in the league with the 48.2 field goal percentage. And they also are 1st in the division in 3-point percentage and 4th in the league, popping 38.3 of their attempts from the tray. However, they do need some work on the offensive boards as they ranked last in the division and 16th in the league with an average of 10.57 per game. On defense, they boast a defensive rating of 110.5, which was best in the division. In points against per game, they were averaging 110.56, which was 2nd within the division. The Celtics are 1st in the division and ranked 2nd in the league in opponent field goal percentage, and they are equally matched at defending the 3, being 1st in the division and 4th in the league at 35.1%. They're killing on the total rebounds and defensive rebounds as well, being top in the division and league with an average of 36.54 defensive boards and 47.11 total boards per game. And when it comes to block, they killing as well, blocking 6.57 per game for 1st in the division and 2nd in the league. However, the same cannot be said for them still in the rock, as they were last in the division and 29th in the league with an average of 6.43 steals per game. Alright, that's it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Worst to Least Worst. And that's it for the Atlantic Division. Let's see if Boston can hang on to their lead in the league and raise their 18th banner. Let's see if the Knicks can stay in the mix and pose a threat for a conference semi-trip. And the Sixers, well, let's wish for a speedy recovery from Joel Embiid. Before we get up out of here, remember to hit the subscribe button, like, voice your opinion in the comment section, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. And subscribe to the community at hoops.fyi. Until next time, peace.